We're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome again to one of our episodes of Hierarchy Betrayal. Today I'm with Kimberly Maurer and Rosa Hart. I'm Dina Paoloni, your co-host. And hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Good. It's good. It's good. It's good to be here. It's good. It's Sunday morning. What? Another fabulous Sunday morning. So today we have Rosa, and her and I have had many conversations, and it was a no-brainer to be like, oh my goodness, she has to be one of our guests. We have to see if she's busy on Sunday. What are you doing on Sunday, girl? Let's hook up. So here we are. So thank you, Rosa, for being here, and thank you, Dina, always for this platform and sharing it across the globe. It means so much to so many people. And I didn't find out so recently that some people were like, oh yeah, I watch it every Sunday. I'm like, what? I didn't know. So it's very humbling and an honor for sure. So thank you for the time
Absolutely.
to be here.
Rosa, we'd love to have you here.
Oh,
Please
thank you
introduce
so
yourself.
much. Yeah, I'm so honored to get to join in the conversation. I watch what you guys write on LinkedIn a lot. So I guess, I don't know, for years now, I've really admired your advocacy work and the way that you really encourage nurses to think outside the box and not limit themselves. So I'm just really honored to be part of the conversation with you today.
Thank you very much. And while I'm checking everything, Kimberly, what should we do? The disclaimer straight away, or you want to start reading something?
Yeah, so I'll do the introduction like we do, and then you can run the fabulous bean footage of the disclaimer, and we'll get started. Like a plan? Like a plan?
Yes, we are live. So check everything. All good, please.
Let me put my glasses on because I am blind as a bat. All right. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are joining us in the world today. Welcome to the Hierarchy Betrayal podcast with Dina Paoloni, myself, Kimberly Maurer. Today we are welcoming Rosa Hart, who has a story to tell. And her story really isn't about communication. Communication just happens to be the evidence. The true story is about trust. I see you taught her something most people will never learn. When people are scared, overwhelmed, grieving, or facing uncertainty, your credentials are the least of their worries. They're evaluating and trying to figure out, do I trust this person? Do I feel safe? That's why I think there are several rich places we can go today in this conversation. For one, talking about the difference between information and reassurance. You see, Rosa often talks about families calming down when she sat with them. She hadn't changed the diagnosis to fix the problem. She didn't even have new information to go on. What changed was how the information was received. And that's huge. That's a huge difference, because one could ask, what did those families actually need from you in those moments? Information, reassurance, or just permission to breathe? What was happening underneath that conversation? Because I think we can all agree it's true in healthcare, leadership, hospitality, parenting, and even relationships. Those facts matter. And how we arrive at those facts matters more. So why does presence feel so rare? Rosa says people know when you're fully present because everyone says they listen, but there are very few people who make you feel heard. My question for the audience today would be, what do you think people are actually sensing when they say they felt seen by someone? Because I think the answer is going to be very powerful. Often, people remember a feeling long after the conversation is over. Dina and I always talk about the cost of being invisible. And this is especially important given everything I've been exploring lately. So I'm also going to ask, what happens when people don't feel seen? I don't mean just patients. I'm talking staff, guests, families, communities. Because most complaints aren't really about the complaint. They're about the experience of feeling dismissed. Did you dismiss them? Did you pay attention? Were you curious? I've been talking about this for weeks, so this is probably no surprise to a lot of the audience. And I think the thread that has brought all three of us here together is running through each and every one of us. The three of us have come to the same question from different directions. Rosa, she brings nursing and storytelling. Dina, she brings nursing, fierce advocacy, and standing beside people when systems leave them feeling alone. I bring nursing, culture, and the search for what sits underneath human behavior. Different roads, same destination. So if we were to go deeper, what happens when trust is missing? Because trust affects communication. Trust affects culture. Trust affects leadership. Trust affects healing. Trust affects whether people stay or people leave. When trust breaks, the consequences rarely stop with the person who was harmed. They ripple downward, out through families and communities and entire professions. So today, we're pulling up a chair and exploring that question together. So find a seat, grab your favorite beverage, and bring your curiosity. Welcome to the Hierarchy Betrayal.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Kimberly. So I will ask Rosa, before we start with our disclaimer, what you would like to talk about today so that people can get to know you better. What is the topic that you really want to focus on today? Thank you.
Well, I think Kimberly set the stage beautifully with focusing on trust, and people want to know who they are dealing with, right? Whether it's in healthcare or whether it's in, I've been doing a lot more with marketing lately, and they say people buy from people. They don't, if they feel connected to you, then I tell you what, I know doctors with great bedside manner who could probably get away with murder because people trust them so hard, right? And if they don't have good bedside manner, they might be really competent and have the best, low complication rates. But if it doesn't come across in that conversation, it really can make all the difference. So, I'm all about focusing on our conversation on trust today, because I think it really does make or break whatever we're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely. So we are already live, and we are live on LinkedIn and YouTube. Unfortunately, not on Facebook today for some meta problem in the past few days, but doesn't matter. So please, if you are live on LinkedIn and YouTube, if you want to share your name publicly, give access to StreamYard, which is the platform we use today to share across social media. But if you want to stay private, don't worry. Just be part of the conversation. Leave your question, leave your comment, challenges us, because we love to be challenged. You don't have to agree with that necessarily. Actually, we really love exchange idea and confront each other so that we can make better conversation and we can make progress. So if we are ready, we're going with the disclaimer.
Disclaimer: the Hierarchy Betrayal podcast. Warning: unfiltered, unscripted, unapologetic. This podcast is brought to you by two nurses who've had enough of the BS. We're talking about the real healthcare system, the one that exploits nurses, commodifies patients, and protects profit over people. What to expect? Zero scripts, just raw, honest conversation. F-bombs, probably more than a few. We're passionate, not polished. Uncomfortable truths. If you're a manager who's complicit in the hierarchy betrayal, this content may cause discomfort, embarrassment, or a sudden urge to defend the indefensible. Not suitable for sensitive managers allergic to accountability, anyone invested in maintaining the status quo, those who prefer their healthcare conversations sanitized and corporate approved, suitable for nurses tired of being used and abused, healthcare workers ready to call out the mafia, anyone who believes patients deserve better than a system designed for profit. If you're here, you're ready for the truth. Welcome to the Hierarchy Betrayal.
Thank you. So, if you don't mind, we'd like to share with our audience a couple of things that happened to both of us, myself and Kimberly. And then so we can move to your things and then start the conversation. So I am so pleased to share that Kimberly has been featured to our Nursing Start magazine. Congratulations, Kimberly.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that so very much. It's such an honor, and for me, it's not so much about the cover. It's the journey that got me to the cover. It's the relationships that I've built over the last year, on LinkedIn, and that's my biggest platform, in all honesty. And I dabble in the others, but LinkedIn has definitely become LinkedIn family, I would have to say. I mean, it brought Dina and I together, and here we are. So thank you. Thank you so much for that shout out. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. And when you share on LinkedIn, you talk about relationships. And I think this is so important for the conversation that we're going to have today. So this is why I wanted to bring it in and also to shout out to you, but again, because it's really related to it. If I can share one of my things as well, I just, where is it? I just released my journal, so I want to share with you, which is available on Amazon, and I don't get any royalty from it. So it's the very lower price for you to enjoy, and that's it, actually. Right? So if you are curious,
congratulations.
It's actually amazing. Thank you. It's related to the book, but yes, you got a link in the comment. It's really at the lower price. You basically pay Amazon for printing and send it to you. So I don't have anything for this thing. Even for the book, is the very low price. And now I wanted to start this conversation by sharing Rosa book, which is, I think it's very related to our conversation today. Rosa, do you want to say something about this book? Should we start from here?
Yeah, certainly. So Speak Up, Start Now is the book that I have published this year, and was I really wanted to promote it as the Nurses Week gift of the year, because I felt like it was definitely better than a rock that says you rock, for one thing. We're setting the bar really low. But also, you guys talk about using your voice a lot. I have seen, how nurses do workarounds a lot, and nurses are great innovators in that way. And I really want to encourage nurses to put forward the solutions they see to the problems that they see, and believe in their own expertise from experience. A lot of the times as nurses, we think we need another degree or another certification to validate that we know what we're talking about, or to say we have a place in the conversation with the people who we see higher in the hierarchy, as you guys like to talk about. But the thing is, the people with lived experience see what the needs are and what will really work in the real world. And so that's really what the book is about, is showing, going through my story of podcasting and getting a global voice through that. Even though I'm an RN, I'm not an advanced practice nurse. I have a certification, that I don't have a full alphabet of letters behind my name. But I saw a need, and I saw a way to meet that need. and showcase others along the way. And so I hope that can be encouraging to other nurses as well, to just speak from where they are, and not think that they need to wait 5 or 10 years and 5 more degrees or certifications before their voice is valid enough.
Absolutely, yes. We repeat this over and over again every time I have the opportunity, even outside this podcast. I always say, if I have to a last message to say aloud to nurses is, you are enough, and start where you are, because you are enough. And to be honest, my journal, my book is just really start within, because nurses think that they need to raise their hand to say their opinion, when actually they are those who are with patient 24/7. So they actually have a good idea what is going on. So they should feel more free to speak openly. But unfortunately, we're still leading ourselves with fear for the system, fear for the hierarchy, fear for everything. And our job with the hierarchy betrayal actually is to open up and just drop some fear. See that actually is possible, right? Actually would like to put in the comment the link for buy your book, Rosa. Where should I find it? On Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon, Audible. I've got the audiobook there as well as the Kindle edition. I only do hard copies when they're signed at events or if people DM me directly. So if you go to Amazon, it's Speak Up, Start Now, and on Audible and Kindle.
Okay, I will do this,
Congratulations.
Kimberly. Yeah,
I'm going to get this
congratulations.
book. Congratulations. I'm
Thank you.
definitely looking forward to reading this book, and yours as well, Dina. That's 2 more to add to my collection. Thank you.
There we go, I found it. Okay, please go ahead. I'll do this in the meantime.
Okay, so I have been dabbling a lot in a lot of conversations, and I have found, and I have proof, I actually brought the receipts as to where the conversations really come from, where the connections are really happening. And I've found that it's in the comment sections. I don't know if you have found that as well, but the post can only go so far. You can bring your message forward, you can share your insights, you can tell a story, and we're all really good at telling stories. And I have found that people tend to gravitate to the comment section, and that's where the golden nuggets are, I like to call them. And Matt Harless always called things the golden nugget, so that's kind of stuck with me. But I've found that that's where the relationships are, that's where the opportunities are, that's where the calling is. So I guess my recommendation for the conversation today, and trusting people, God, I can't talk today. Trusting people and building those relationships, it's in the comment sections. Don't be afraid to just get out there and put how you're feeling, put what you're thinking. It can be messy, it can be raw, it doesn't have to be perfect and polished. Everyone thinks that to build these relationships with people, it has to be perfect. You have to use AI for everything. You don't. It's more genuine when it comes from your heart. And people can see that. And then that's what we're talking. Then you build trust. People start to pay attention. They're eager. They're curious to find out what else you have to say, and they start following you. And that's huge. So I do think that LinkedIn has been a gem in that regard for nurses to get their voices out there, for basically anyone from any industry to get their voice out there. So it has been a great platform for that. So I guess what I'm saying is, I just encourage people just to talk, just to speak up. Don't be afraid. Don't live in that fear of, is it good enough? Because like Dina just said, it's enough. You're enough. It's always enough. And Sayed says, when he say, wow, great to see it again. That's awesome. Tom Todd says, hi, I'm Tom Todd from Edinburgh, Scotland. Thanks for your event. Thank you for being here. We always appreciate everyone who signs up and comes to visit, pulling up a chair. And Dr. Fate says, learning so many things from your discussion. And that's awesome, because that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're building in these conversations, is those relationships, and those people that are kind of just sitting in the background and watching. We don't always know they're there, but they're there. Trust me. And you find out later when someone comes to you, you maybe even run into them at the grocery store. Oh my God, I love your stuff. I've been following you for so long. And you're like, what? Really? I never knew. Well, thank you. So, that's a time for gratitude as well. And I would say share gratitude, because it's so very important. It's so very important. So I guess, Dina, do you want to ask Rosa the first question?
Absolutely. So I would like that you can please start telling us how did you, well, we know, but how did you start thinking about communication and where the story started, basically? Thank you, Rosa.
Well, I'm not sure how far back you want me to go, but I've always been a talker. To your point, in the grocery store when I was a baby and I couldn't talk. My mom had 6 kids, but she said anytime she was in the grocery store with me when I was a baby, people would come up and always start talking to me. Just because my face, I don't know, I have that face. I thought I would be spared from it during COVID, and still people would approach me in the grocery store. They didn't even know me. They just thought, oh, I need to talk to that person. So I have, I guess, some super approachable face. So it's a good thing I learned to listen. But as far as how I got into this communication and seeing this opportunity for all nurses, I had started a local podcast in Louisville, Kentucky, that was exploring the local businesses and nonprofits that were making our area great. And so I got some experience as podcaster here in town, where I got to have some of those grocery store experiences there, where people were like, hey, I was listening to your podcast. I was like, and you have no idea, on these audio platforms, who in the world is listening. So that was really cool. And as a result, I was invited through my work with stroke survivors, because that's my day job, is talking to people about how to prevent stroke after they've had one, and address modifiable risk factors. So I was invited to create the Stronger After Stroke podcast at work. And at this point, now that's won first place at the International Stroke Conference for the American Heart Association, and it's heard in 100 countries, answering frequently asked questions for stroke survivors and their caregivers from neuro experts, as well as stroke survivors and caregivers who are sharing from their lived experience what was most helpful to have the best quality of life after a stroke and to have the best recovery. And so that visibility, that expansion beyond just those one-on-one phone calls that I had been having, really opened my eyes to the potential that technology has to scale up the amount of people we're able to reach and help with our message. So whether it's stroke, and that is going really well and effectively, or I started having more conversations with other nurses in different specialties, right? Whether it's mother baby or ortho or cardiology, and they saw that, oh, well, she's just a nurse and she's doing this far-reaching podcast. Maybe I could do that in my area of expertise. And so I really want to encourage other nurses to step into that. You all probably know as podcasters now, but the average number of episodes for a podcast is 6 episodes. It is not a saturated market for podcasters. A lot of people run out of things to say or quit, and they stop being consistent. So it's a great modality to put out evergreen content that people can go back and listen to later. It doesn't have to be live. It's cool that you guys have this live platform where you can respond to people. None of my podcasts have been live. And so as a result of that, I had a lot of people reaching out to me saying, I want to be on your podcast. And I was like, I'm sure you do, but you have nothing to do with stroke. So that doesn't make any sense. But they were such interesting people. And I wanted to have these conversations and get to know them. So I created the Nurse Rosa's Insights podcast, which is coming up on 100 episodes at this point. Because I just can't get enough of it. Yeah, just any opportunity to hear from thought leaders. So in that one, it's where I speak with healthcare stakeholders, which could be any human person. And I ask each one of them a $1 billion question, which is, if you were given a grant for $1 billion to meet a need you see in healthcare, how would you like to see it used strategically to have the most sustainable impact? And I have just had the most amazing assortment of answers that have just spanned so many different topics from, okay, my probably all-time favorite are the toilet-related ones. Like, I did 8 years in the ICU and toileted a whole lot of people, from when I was an aide to when I was a nurse. We all help on the potty, right? There was this engineer who invented a toilet seat that can transform care, called SedMed, and a nurse who she patented this design called Louis that prevents a splash when you're just pouring stuff in. So I love spotlighting these innovators, whether it's, tangible inventions that they've made, or process improvement ideas, or AI solutions, or interpersonal innovations. Like Renee Thompson came on and we talked about bullying and incivility in healthcare. That's a great area for innovating new communication strategies. So that's kind of where it's come from. And Speak Up, Start Now, the book is really kind of like a consolidation of my keynote that I share to encourage other nurses to put their voices out there as well.
That is amazing. I didn't know 6 episodes is the
Yeah.
average. We are episode 19 today.
Far ahead.
So good. And Kimberly, she is part of the podcast with Mark Carter as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have
Yeah.
the Unix Collective. I had another podcast. So that's brilliant. Oh, it's reassuring. So it's about speak up only for because I'm a clinical entrepreneur. We have an amazing program here in UK, which is NHS Clinical Entrepreneur Program, and is the largest entrepreneurship business program for workforce across the globe. So actually we celebrated 10 years last Monday, so it was an amazing event. But yeah, so this Speak Up is only for those who want to become entrepreneur, or is also for improved communication in a way that you can prove trust with also in your day-by-day work?
Yeah, it is not specific to healthcare. I'm sharing my story from healthcare and as a nurse, but it really can translate across whichever area you're suffering from imposter syndrome in. Maybe you see something that needs to be done and you need to speak up in a board meeting. Maybe you see something that needs to change and it's speaking up interpersonally between you and a colleague. So I really just want to encourage people to speak up at whatever insertion point it needs to be given, just to counteract that voice in their head that's telling them they're not enough, or they're not educated enough, or maybe people will take you seriously if you have a doctorate. If you can say Dr. Rosa Hart, then people are going to take that so much more seriously. No, they're not. They just don't care about these titles. Like, I did have someone who I really respect encourage me to go back and get a doctoral degree in order to be taken more seriously. But the thing is, it's really how you package the message. It's really how you connect with your audience, whether it's a one-on-one conversation or a conversation with a big auditorium. If you feel connected, I feel like Theo Vaughn is the best example of this. If you don't know who this
Absolutely.
person is, there is no pretense at education or polishedness, but you trust that he means what he says, even if it's completely absurd. And I
It's
think,
so cool.
right. And the
It's
thing
lovely, though. It's lovely.
it's refreshing
Yeah.
because you might think whatever he's saying is stupid, or you might think, or he might too. But in this
Yeah.
era of the people who have the degrees and the positions and the authority in power, and you feel like you can't trust them, to find a person that you feel connected to, that you feel like is not lying to you, is a treasure. And so learning how to communicate in a way that conveys that authenticity and that you really mean what you're saying, I would really believe is the key.
Yeah, for those who don't know him, Theo Von is large famously YouTuber podcaster who have amazing guests in his podcast. And I know that he had, I don't know very much the story, but I know that he have a rough childhood, story of drugs, all the things that he says sometimes left him with some mental damage. But anyway, he's on depression as well. So many things, and he's openly talk about these things. Every podcast actually is fun, is uplifting, and also it's a healing experience, I believe, for him as well. So Theo Von, if you don't know him, you have to go and look. I think yes, you're right. So it's the way you communicate and the fact that I believe that you are good podcast as well if you are open and you're not afraid to, set in front of the camera and pretending to be someone else. You're just yourself and as you are off camera. And I think the people perceive this at the end. And in how you trust, you build trust, actually, I believe so. Kimberly, I have a question for you, but I think the question is good for all of us from the audience. Unfortunately, I can't see the name here. I know that it's from LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah, this is Ravi. So Ravi Sharma, he is with the Marriott in Tulsa. He says, Kim, how your relationships are changing your future career. How, I think this would be how are changing your future career possibilities. Great conversations here. Well, thank you, Ravi, for always showing up in a room I never expect you to show up in. So thank you. The relationships that I've been building across many industries definitely has changed the trajectory of where I see my future. And I think that healthcare cross-pollinates with a lot of industries because you're always caring for patients, you're caring for guests, you're caring for families, you're always caring. So I think that the future looks bright in that regard, as to just continuing to listen, to be curious, to see what the possibilities are, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to walk into that next room. Like Rosa said, just bring your full self. Just bring your full self. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished. Just be yourself, and never, ever pretend to be something that you're not, because that's gonna catch you. It will catch you right in the butt. So, yeah, I think that I think all of us have great futures going forward, with the book publishing. And, I published my first book last year, The Healthcare Mafia, A Nurse's Testament. So, that's my story, and co-authored with Ashley Scott, as she infused 10 amazing poems and 48 of the chapters. God, I miss her. But I think that us continuing to have these conversations, to not be polished, to not be perfect, and to not ask anyone for permission. I'm not asking anybody for permission, to just be. And I think
just
that
launch
too,
some F-bombs sometimes if we want.
right. And the thing with people getting out of the box and looking at new paths. And I shared a post probably a month or so ago, after I was on the podcast, was it Copper Medical? I was on their podcast, and we talked about the other path, the third path forward, the one that you don't know is there yet. And that's the thing. Just keep your mind open. Don't think that, oh, I'm like Rosa's, I'm just a nurse. You're not just anything. You are a human being, and you have so much to offer. And being in healthcare, I feel that we have so many experiences that have shaped us in so many ways, and dealing with like all aspects of grief. I mean, look at all of the stages of grief that we go through, you know, in any one given day, you can go from having, you know, a patient that has a baby to a patient that, you know, I was labor and delivery, to a patient that comes in and, you know, baby's gone. And it's such a wave that we ride all the time. But along the way, you're building trust, you're communicating. So I always say the biggest thing is just to listen and be curious. Always be curious, because we don't know everything. I don't know everything. You don't, right? But it's not having the fear to raise your hand and say, hey, show me something, you know, tell me something. What do you know that I don't know? What are, you know, my favorite is, what am I missing? What am I missing? Because, you know, and that's where we talk about perspectives too, and the way people perceive things. You may have said it one way and someone took it another way. So that's, again, where we have in every single industry. And in my 36 years in healthcare, my 54 years of living on this planet, there's always communication breakdown. There's always a breakdown somewhere. Someone didn't get the message. Someone misunderstood the message. So I guess just always be clear and present yourself, present your case, and move forward. But the doors are always opening. You just have to find the handle. Handle.
Absolutely. Rosa, how do you answer this question?
Can you repeat the question? Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, the question was how your relationships are changing your future career possibility.
Girl, relationships are literally everything. For one thing, my current boss is, and my relationship with her has been transformative. She has seen potential in me that I never knew like was there. And so that mentorship has been incredible. She insists that I wear red lipstick, for instance. and like she'll comment on like what I could wear to, you know, put forward the right, to dress the way you want to be perceived, for instance. And then through connecting with people in these podcasts, it's really opened doors that I just would have never walked through otherwise. Like I found out about the Health and Vive conferences, Health being HLTH, and got to attend my first nurse hackathon, which was incredible, and meet other nurse innovators and learn about those possibilities. I got to meet, I don't know if you would call them titans of industry. That's how I think of them, or titans of podcasting, and learn from them and introduce other opportunities. Like I'm building a consulting business now, which is Rosa Hart Media Consulting, LLC. And through these relationships, I've been able to, they're like, hey, I want you to come and build this bespoke podcast for me and fly out to Miami or other places. Like I fly out to the University of Miami for the Aging Like a Pro podcast and interview their brain health researchers on how to prevent dementia and optimize your brain as you age. That's been incredible. And that was through relationships. And there's some others that are in the works now, because as you build these relationships, you want to work with these people. And so you find opportunities to do that. It's very relational. And to bring up a video I just saw on YouTube, so many people are looking for new job opportunities and they'll fill out 100 applications and get no callbacks. But I just saw that a lot of these companies are using the same AI platforms to score applications, and they'll use the same score from the first application. And if that score doesn't match up with that application, then that applies to every application you do otherwise. So the only way you're going to get a new job is if you're networking with human people who can route your resume around the AI system that isn't going to give you a chance.
Absolutely. And this is true. I'm a career
So the
coach.
ATS system, I'm sorry, Dan. The ATS system is horrible. It is the automatic tracking system that tracks it, that, either gives you a yay or a nay, or it's so hard to get in front of a human being these days. And I wrote a post recently and compared the 2026 job search to the dating app, because you never know what you're getting, and then you get flooded with all of these recruiters and it happens all the time. And now they're dive bombing my comment sections. It's like, dude, really? And, I'd be kind, but I see it happening way too much. They'll send you ridiculous pay scale, right? Like from 200 and some thousand to, I don't know, 325,000, I think was the most recent. And the job description, it's clearly, how do I say this nicely? Clearly you took the time to read my profile. Let's just put it that way. Because it goes through and it puts basically everything in that job description that you have listed in your profile. And then I always love it when it has an email that says outlook.com. That's the response email to reach out to me at Outlook, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, really? If you are a reputable person with a job that pays something like this, oh, and then don't forget that it always says no degree needed. Really? $325,000 a year and I don't need a degree. Okay. So I get these conversations with these recruiters, and getting in front of a real person is definitely a real struggle. And I see it all the time, and my DM gets flooded with, these fake opportunities. And then I always say, do your due diligence, go check out their profile. See if they have any connections that you have. Do you have mutual connections? Do you have something in common, first off? And if they're saying they're from this big reputable company, and like I have so many times went to their profile, they have no connections and they have no followers and they have posted nothing. Okay, a red flag. So it all just comes back to those real relationships, being authentic, and trusting people. Because you find sometimes, and I've done it myself, where I've kind of willy-nilly'd, some people that have popped up in my DMs with an opportunity, because now I'm automatically putting on my detective hat. Now I'm automatically digging into, okay, are you real? Where do you work? Do we have anything in common? And you start doing all of this math, and that takes time. That takes effort. My time is valuable. So, I really wish people that are doing that would stop doing that. But again, it comes back to trust. And then do we lose trust? Do we even give somebody the time of day because we've been hounded so many times by a fake one that you might miss an opportunity? So I always say, at least acknowledge every one of them. And if they pop into your comment section, you've checked them out, and it's just delete the comment. Don't let them take up that space in your thread. Don't let them do that. They didn't earn that place there. They don't have a relationship with you, and you certainly don't have their trust. So just delete. It's really quick and easy. And I've done that a lot of times. But it is really hard to get past the ATS systems and find those genuine opportunities. So, and you were talking when you first started about the answering Ravi's question, and it is that person that sees something in you when you don't see something yourself. Or where I feel like I told this to Dina before, it's like, fly, little birdie, fly. Someone's saying, here, just fly. I see you. Here, you got this. You can do that. So it is those once in a million people that enter your lives. And I appreciate so much of everyone that has come into my life and has made this journey what it is right now. Because I never would have written a book, right? I never would have been on, I think I've been on 10 different podcasts, maybe 11. I never would have done that. I never would have written many, many articles. I've been published in many journals and magazines, and I never would have done that. So it was all of that encouragement, all of that trust, and people having faith in me, which built my faith and my confidence in myself and gave me the courage to come out of everything that I went through with COVID and the loss of losing everything and losing 2 years of my life. So it's been quite a journey. So yeah, just like we say always, just do it. It's like the Nike, the Nike logo. Just do it. Just do it. You never know. Dina, how would you answer that question? I'm curious to think what you said.
I will say I don't want, I really much resonate with you. I don't want to copy you in the literal sense, but what I want to say is one of the things that I learned through my career, but also while studying career coaching, becoming career coach, and then entering the leadership space and the entrepreneurship space, I learned that it's never the what, but it's always the who. Who is your client? Who is your sponsor? Who is your friend? And trust is a given, right? You decide to trust someone, but then trust must be paid every single day. So you decide to give trust to someone, but that someone have to gain trust every single day. Because we know there are people married for 30 years and then they divorce. So my personal experience, I have my best friend, 32 years of friendships just break up for a stupid things done. So you give trust because the same way I've been betrayed by my friends, my best friends, but this is not the reason why I don't give trust to anyone else now. So I give trust still. I want because I believe in humanity. Maybe I'm a romantic philanthropist, but still loving humanity and trusting humanity. So I give trust. So trust is a given, but then trust must be earned every single day, right? So it's important as a career coach, I can tell regarding, future career possibility. People are everything because you can build your skills, clinical skills or soft skills, whatever, right? And you are alone. You keep staying in that position forever. If you learn how to position yourself in certain networks, you are able to communicate what is your vision. And by helping each other, for example, we want I've got back there. We want the award as the best cardiac team in UK, right? Massive achievement with our cardiothoracic ICU, right? It's done, but I have for to everyone. But my leader, who was also my mentor, she's basically started clinical trial, and we went all in to this trial. And I also record a video. I interview all the nurses there. So we put up this video and we presented to the Society of Cardiothoracic Surgery in UK and Ireland. And so we were shortlisted, very happy. We fly to Belfast, and then we won. So it was a team effort, right? But because the right people came together, wanted to work on that specific project, this is why we won. All of us did a little pieces. But so again, it's always the who, right? They can help you open door, or can, like, for example, coaches. I'm a career coach. As you say, Kimberly, this is so important. I make people understand their value, right? Because people are so valuable, but sometimes they don't know they are so valuable. So they stay still in their place instead of, dream big. So I give them permission to dream big. I show them their worth, and I let them understand the worth, also giving them the evidence they are worthy. For example, in our in our community, we done a visibility challenge at work, not on social media. It's very trend doing this visibility challenge on social media that just help you gain some extra followers, right? But if you want to succeed, you should be visible in the place you want to succeed. So at work in this case. And so by doing these visibility challenges, I give them things to do. They accomplish, and so they build their confidence because they had tangible evidence that they were worthy. They accomplished something. And so it's important because you understand how much you value, you understand your dream, you start to the realization that you can dream whatever you want. And then, because if you don't dream, you don't know what you want to accomplish, right? So you dream, you have evidence, you accomplish, but you do with other people, you've never done by yourself, right? No one is self-made. We all need our friends, colleagues, leaders, or clients. If we have a product, no one buy it. No, it isn't. So I'm diverged now. Sorry. If I start talking, I never stop, Rosa, please, go ahead.
First off, do not apologize. Do not apologize. I love your story. Rosa loves your story. And the people that follow you and love your story. Never apologize. Never apologize. Okay, Rosa, your turn.
Well, I think I already answered the question about the relationships. Was there a next question?
If you want to add something extra about this, about people, about relationship, and go further career opportunity in general, because you build relationship or communicate in a certain way that you can build a relationship, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's important. And thinking that people are just going to magically reach out to you is unrealistic. I know all three of us have been very dedicated to put ourselves out there. I see your work on LinkedIn all the time. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and X. And I got on X because of real people interactions, because I went to the World Stroke Congress, and I had posted on the other platforms like pictures of getting there and being there in Toronto with like the needle tower and everything. And somebody was like, "Oh, hey, you're that girl I saw on social media. Were you on Twitter?" Because it was still Twitter at the time. And I was like, maybe. And so I went and created a Twitter account and started posting there, because I learned, oh, this is where the people are. And I think what you were saying is so important. If you want to grow your career in a certain area, you need to be seen where those people are and go to where that audience is. If it's in person, for example, one way my boss mentors me is, she wants me to dress a certain way, to be seen a certain way at work, to put forward that image of this is what it looks like to be a leader. So dress like a leader, even if you don't have a leader on your name badge. Dress for the job you want, interact with the people who are in that position and learn from them. Ask for mentorship, ask them for advice. People love it when you ask for advice because it makes them feel knowledgeable. Like, oh my goodness, somebody thought I was knowledgeable enough, because believe it or not, they have imposter syndrome too. And so, and then they will feel empowered and to help you and give them meaning. So yeah, it matters in person as well as online. And I love it when online relationships, I really do use social media, whether it's LinkedIn or any of them, as a place to build real relationships and see people in person. And I try to use my podcast the same way, either as an excuse to see people in person, or I'll have a great interview with them. And for example, I was going to DC. I'd interviewed this guy like a year ago, and he was doing some cool stuff in DC. And I was like, yeah, I'll be coming up there on this such and such day. And he was like, oh, I'd love to see you while you're in town. And I was like, do you want to pick me up at the airport? And he was like, sure, I'll clear my calendar. Let's just do it. And I was like, did not expect that. But then we got to have breakfast together, and, now we're talking about building a project together. So you never know what will happen when you just put yourself out there and just are open to exploring these relationships. I will say I get really frustrated when I talk to colleagues who they'll say, oh, I don't know about that. Like, that's the end of the conversation. Well, do you have questions about that? Do you want to learn more? Do you want to find out who does know about that? And let's talk to them and get answers, instead of just like, oh, since I don't know about that, I must not ever need to know about that. Like, that makes no sense to me. But yes, my way of learning is to learn through people and to build new opportunities through those relationships. So you find people you want to do stuff with, for one thing. So if you meet people and you're like, oh, I don't want to see them again, don't build with those people. But I think when you find people like finding you all and learning how simpatico we are, that makes me want to do anything we can together to see each other again.
Absolutely.
Right. I love that. I love that, Dina. I mean, she just summed it all up, right? Why we do what we do. I think why anybody does what they do. And I always say, just be curious. I'm always curious. I want to know the why behind everything. I want to know why we do it, why, blah, blah, blah. Always be curious. Do you see, I don't know why he comes up as LinkedIn user on here, but Robbie,
I wanted to share. I wanted to share this comment. I just wanted to say that the way actually to be interesting, right? That people see, oh, this is a very interesting person. It's actually to be interested. So if you ask questions, make people feel seen, they are willing to open up to you, and so they actually see you as an interesting person because you're there and make them feel heard. Yes, and another thing they've all had, if I may, before sharing the comment, is don't go to a DM and say, I need this, 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 and this. Even without say, hello, how are you? How are you? Well, how is your day today? Just people see you maybe doing something, they just come to you straight away demanding something. This is not fair because we are all human beings and we are all advocating for certain things. We put our time and effort to help others, but this doesn't mean that people can abuse us or can abuse something else. Always remember that you have a person in front of you, I believe, because sometimes I feel abused a little bit. Well, I still keep my kindness, everything, but yeah. Or people that DMs you and without even read your damn profile, there are some things. Anyway, that's so weird. Oh,
I know.
Sorry, I cover your face. It's so big.
They say, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. And it's like, you just connected with me. Did you not read my profile? Do you not know anything about me? Why are you here then? What are we doing? You're absolutely right. So Robbie says, great conversations here. Ghosting by HR is truly frustrating. That is why if you can find the decision makers through social media and connect with them, him or her, your chances of being interviewed and hired improve drastically. In hospitality, you have worked for and with people who know me. We may have respectively have a different approach, but in the end, the goal always is to grow revenues and increase better customer satisfaction and their experiences when they are with us at the hotel. I can't see what that is. Know anything about me? Why are you here then? What are we
What's
doing?
happened? It's me? Let me close.
Exactly. I'm trying to find the rest of his comment. Let's see. I'm going to look on my phone because I can't see it here. He says, with you. Sorry.
I would like to start answer to this question, if I may.
Yes, I was trying to find the rest of it. Okay, he says, so I think you all as nurses in healthcare are trying to help your patients and your institutions. Yes, Sorry, I had to try and find it on my phone because I couldn't see it on here.
Yeah, I don't know why
Yeah,
it's cut at a certain point of the comments, but yes.
Yes,
If I
because I was
may,
trying to
as a
read it
career
on.
coach, I wanted to answer this one a little bit.
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead. Go ahead.
it's true, but first of all, there is a way to get rid from ATS, so you can actually be able to make sure the AI picks you, because the way you format your CV is based on the job application. So there is a way anyway. It's not that it's art. It's more that you must know how to do it, basically, because it's no art, definitely. Another thing is, more than go straight away to the manager, I will go first to someone that work in the hospital, work in the specific department, start asking question. Make sure that you look like interested, not that you demand to be hired. You don't want to ask a question like, how can I do to be to have the job? How can I do to become to look more friendly to the manager or the or the interviewer? Ask questions to show them that you're really interested to the job position and why you are interested to the job position. Create relationship with people working there, but genuine relationship. Don't send message to be sneaky, to try to create trick to get in there. No, show your real interest with people who are in there. So yeah, I wanted just to adjust this. Sorry, Kimberly, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So Ravi and I have been connected. So this is Ravi Sharma. He's the general manager of the Marriott Tulsa in Southern Hills in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he and I have been connected for, over probably the whole year, I'm going to say, over a year. And it was connecting over, a post or a comment or something that caught my attention, that I was like, I really like what this guy has to say. I want to learn more. And then come to find out he has a podcast that he runs from inside the hotel, Lobby Talks. And so it got me more curious. I'm like, God, I want to know more about this guy. So then I started following him, and I started following his posts and his story. And I just became more and more curious about the correlation between hospitality and healthcare. It's so very close. It is so very close. I mean, they both have the same word in it, for God's sakes. It can't get any closer than that, right? I'm right there. Hospitality, hospital, same thing. So he and I have had many conversations, and there's been many conversations that I've been brought into lately in the discussing the difference and the things that are the same between the two industries. And I'm so intrigued by it because it really got me thinking and looking for the thing underneath the thing. I was looking for, well, what does that mean? What do you mean by experience? What is it that you're offering? So then you get tilted. So my brain goes first off, to healthcare. And I'm thinking, okay, so I'm automatically thinking as a patient and as someone caring for patients, how was that experience? How did they feel while they were, how did they feel as a patient? Did they feel like we listened to them? Did they feel like we cared for them? Was the environment safe? Did they have everything that they needed? Did they have a pillow, blanket? Were they given water? Was their call light within reach? Did their TV work? Did their phone work? Were they attended to? And then I started thinking, well, that goes right back to the hospital then, or I'm sorry, the hotel. It's a guest experience. So from the time, and it's no different from the time they walk in the door, you greet them, you say hello, you welcome them. And I think that piece a lot of times gets missed in both healthcare and hospitality. Did you greet them? Did you make them feel seen? Did you give them that acknowledgement? Because either way, it's customer service. They're paying to be there. you're providing a service. So did you greet them? Like Dina said, how do you feel valued? You show them that they have worth. And that's so very important. And it follows you through the whole process and the whole time that you're there. Patients, they complain about foods or the room being cold or nobody answered their call late or something. You guys know I don't have to go into a great deal about all of those. But looking at hospitality, you're looking at, it's kind of the same thing in regards to the air conditioning. Did it work? Was my room too cold? Was my room hot? Did the coffee maker work? How did the room look? Do you put any effort into it? It goes back to what you were saying, Rosa, about the red lipstick and how you're dressing. It's the image that you're putting out there. It's the experience, no matter how you put that. You and all of this and your beautimous red lipstick, which I cannot wear red. I hate red. It does not look good on me. Oh, I look like a hooker. So it's not a good color for me. So I will never wear red. But it comes back to the same thing. It's how do you present the experience? How am I bringing myself to you? And do you see that I gave you a good enough vision of myself and an experience that you want to come back, that you want to follow, you want to be connected, you want to have a relationship with me, and we can build from here. Then there's where those opportunities come along. That's where those bigger conversations come. And that's where the invites to podcasts come, the invites to travel, the invites to speak on a stage. I've been a keynote speaker, as all of you have. It's those invites. And that's where I always say that depending on how you're interacting with people, I cannot talk today, how you're interacting with people. Are they coming to you because they feel engaged, they feel inspired, they saw something that kept them coming, and they wanted to be there? Or I was talking to somebody the other day and he was doing an experiment and tagging people and looking at engagement on LinkedIn. And I said, okay, but does that tagging, and I'm very careful when I tag people, does that tagging make them feel invited, or does tagging them make them feel obligated?
Yeah.
Depending on the relationship.
Exactly.
How close are you? How often do you talk? Is this just a random willy-nilly? Oh, this person looks cool, I'm going to tag them. And you see a lot of people do that, and they'll tag 20 people in a comment section. And I did that in the beginning as I was learning the platform and navigating my way through this space. But I still come back to did I invite them in with that tag, or did I make them feel like they had to show up? There's a huge difference in that. And I think people need to realize that as well, because it does come down to trust. And when you ask someone, hey, do you think you could share my post? Okay. And sometimes they're like, yeah, no problem, because they're on the same page. That's your audience. But if it's somebody who's not in your industry and it's something that's totally off key from what they would put out there, they really don't want to do that. So never force someone to do that either, because they're putting their name to you. They're taking you along to their people. And that's where I always talk about the villages. We're building a village. You're bringing villages to all the tribes, but the tribes have to want to be there together. The village has to welcome the other person in. And by doing this, also, you are meeting other people. You're learning at other industries. You're finding things out that you had no clue even existed in an industry that's very similar, but yet still very different. So just, I guess, with communication and everything, just keep an eye on the prize, but just be very cautious as well. And think about it as where is this going to take me? Where can this take me? And how far can I go from here? Because as we talked before, there's endless doors. There's endless opportunities. You just have to find that one handle. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I would like actually to introduce a couple of posts of Rosa, if you can see it. Just before that, Rosa, I would like to just say something. I will be. I know you talk about hospitality before, but and yes, we are very similar. Um, present to people, if we can say that. But I found myself in this conversation before, talking about customer service in nursing. I will not call it customer service, and I think that say that nurses have to learn customer service is really diminished the nursing profession, because nursing is a holistic profession. So it's amended the fact to make the person comfortable. So it's like for me, when the leadership said to nurses or pointed the finger to nurses, you have to improve your customer service. It's like, give to them the burden of we are understaffing, but you have to fix it with customer service. And so I agree with you. I will say more is that nursing is a holistic profession. So we should not call customer service, more actually show up with your identity as a nurse, show up in a way that you are present with patient. And I would like to link this to, I don't know if it's related, Rosa, tell me, to this post that you wrote. Connection is actually, connection change how people receive information. Because I believe you say how you present of yourself, how do you listen to people, how you communicate with the people, with patient. Is that right? Do you mind to explain further, please? Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the solution to that is to not diminish the profession of nursing by saying we need better customer service. Because to your point, if you are severely understaffed and you don't have the resources, then yeah, that can sound really tone deaf. Well, fix it with your patient experience. But at the same time, I think, I don't know if Kimberly was also commenting on this post on LinkedIn about how someone saw in their MyChart or whatever their platform was that they got a diagnosis of stage 4 cancer, but their oncologist didn't call them to tell them. They just saw it in the chart and they called the oncologist and they were like, no, that's not our job or whatever. And they dropped the results in ChatGPT to get the result of like, what does this even mean? And they said that ChatGPT was sympathetic to them, more sympathetic than the actual humans that they got on the phone. And so I do think that there is a huge opportunity for people to learn better bedside manner, whether that's on the phone or in person, whether or not they are short-staffed. I mean, everybody's going to be short-staffed all the time, but how we deliver that information, even if it is succinct, can be done in a compassionate way. And so I do think there's a lot of room for a lot of people to learn that, because communication skills are not good right now overall. So, I think the answer is both.
Okay, sorry if I stop. I should have to premise something, because
Okay.
of course, I'm in UK, right? And come from Italy. So our healthcare system is public. So for us, for our perspective, talk about customer service is like, it's not very easy to accept. So maybe because you're living a more private healthcare system, you thinking more in that way. So I understand that, but I think that our my position in this moment is that we are so understaffed, so overwhelmed, so emotionally numbed that we are not able to express ourselves how we should we should do. And so, because compassion is part of nursing, holistic care is part of nursing. So why take? So my point is, obviously, this is a conversation. Not saying that this I'm true and you're wrong. What I'm saying is, why we should take a terminology from another place and talk about customer service, where actually we should talk about compassion and holistic care as how profession was supposed to be. Maybe I'm not able to accept, not myself, but all the nurses in Europe, at least the nurses I talk with here in UK and Italy. It's hard for us to even thinking about customer service for professionals and nurses. I understand I don't know if I explain myself properly, but for us, it's a little bit hard to, talk to us like improve customer service. It doesn't resonate with us. I don't know if I.
Well, I think that might be getting too hung up on the terminology, and instead the focus is how are you making that human feel in that personal interaction, right? Whether you call it holistic care or you call it customer service, are you making that person feel like they are a burden? Are you making that person feel like their issue is not worth your time? Are you making that person feel like you see them? And so I think if you just remove the terminology of what are you calling it and just focus on what is the need that's being described here, like I might call it bedside manner, you might call it holistic nursing. The point is that interpersonal interaction and whether or not they feel seen and understood and valued. And so I think that's what nurses want to do, and that may look different in different cultures. But at the same time, there's a level of humanity that we all have in common. So whatever that looks like as the norm in that culture, if you're not meeting that standard of compassionate care for that culture, then how can you do better? Yes, staff appropriately so that you can reach that goal functionally. But at the same time, if it's a choice between scrolling on your phone or speaking compassionately to a patient, then focus on the delivery.
Yeah, I believe we say the same things. It's just this is an international podcast. It always actually ask sometimes, right, Kimberly, when someone says something specific, from USA or from UK or from Australia, please, can you explain better this, because our audience is international. I believe we say the same things, that we're supposed to be more human. We lost our way of being human with our patients. We're too busy, and we need to feel more charged. There's so much to do that really take away our real identity, I believe. So I think we say the same thing. And so you were talking about connection. You say that connection change how people receive information.
Yeah. And that is something I like to talk more about, because like I mentioned at the top of this podcast, some physicians might have their best bedside manner and the worst complication rates, but they can get away with it because people love them. Or some people might be complete assholes, but they have the best safety numbers, and that is who I would want to operate on me because I know they're not gonna fuck it up, right? So it would be great to have both in the same person. Can we have compassionate communication from a competent person? That would be ideal, right? So as nurses, we are hopefully competent and hopefully compassionate. But in the illustration of that situation where ChatGPT is giving you a more sympathetic experience than your interaction with a human person, they say AI is not going to replace nurses. And it's not because of how the AI or not how we make you feel, but I do think we need to prioritize that this is a new area of competition, right? Can we be as compassionate sounding as ChatGPT, whereas ChatGPT doesn't actually care if you die or not, but the human nurse who is competent to make decisions with the objective of saving your life and with the objective of what is best for you, even if it makes you sad in the meantime, but will stay with you through it. Like If I have to walk in and give somebody bad news and deliver that compassionately, I'll still, work on guiding the conversation in a way that I know is the most therapeutic for them, not in the way that's going to keep them on the platform longer by, making them feel like I'm sympathetic to them, but we're really just in a wallowing spiral, right? So that I think that area of competence really needs to meet the compassionate perceived communication in order for us to, see this as a challenge and how can we make it better. I hope I said that clearly.
Yes, you did. That was amazing. I couldn't have said it any better than what you just said. It truly is just exactly like that. And I see it all the time. And I have a couple of family members that are going through some stuff right now. And the delivery of the news, unacceptable. And the communication has been even worse. And I feel that there's so much that's broken that can be bettered. It really can. And it's taken the time to see that it is. And I've never agreed with, my chart giving you results before the doctor sees it. Because then, like my mother, I'm going to say my mom who has end-stage kidney failure, is looking at all of these results, all of these numbers, Googling it, WebMDing it, calling me because she's trying to find the answers that she's not getting from her provider because there's that breakdown in communication. And she may not be seeing the provider for 3 months, 2 months. And I'm always advocating for her, and it's hard to do from 1,200 miles away. And so advocating for her, but also trying to encourage her to be her own advocate and to find her own voice and to not be afraid to ask those questions and demand answers and to demand, care and proper treatment. But I think that the results that are coming on my chart, especially something that is so devastating as that kind of a result, that with AI, if AI can fix anything in regards to documentation and what is shared, that would be the first thing that I would suggest is if it's something like that it needed to come from the voice of the physician at a time where they could explain and answer questions and come to that patient with compassion and understanding, it would change a whole lot of outcomes. And I think the way people recover and how they perceive the care that they're receiving. Do I trust you? You didn't call me. You didn't call me to tell me that's what my results said. I had to read it in my chart. I had to go chat GPT it. I had to go Google it. I had to ask my friends. That's where the breakdown is. And it's so frustrating to me. And again, like I said, I see it all the time. And the delivery of how those messages are received and how that's the start of a really big relationship. Anybody that's going to be starting a cancer journey and trying to heal and going through and navigating all of those processes, all of those procedures, all of those testings, that's a relationship. Do I trust you? Do you see me? Do you care enough about me to sit with me, answer my questions, and explain what's going on? What's my prognosis? Where do we go from here? Instead of juggling doctors, instead of, being admitted to the hospital and then saying, well, that doctor should have never said you that, told you that. You should have never been on that medication. Because then there's all of those conversations that, it's like, okay, so is this doctor trying to get my business? Is he saying all of these things against this other doctor because they're trying to get my business? It's healthcare can be so frustrating in a lot of ways. God love it. When it's good, it's good. It really, really is. But when it's bad and you have these disconnects over and over and over again, and my God, all you gotta do is turn Facebook on, turn LinkedIn on, turn Instagram on, story after story after story after story, patient stories and nurse stories, doctor stories, everybody's stories about the breakdown and of what's broken and how can we fix it, and is anybody really listening? So that has become, Dina and I, and you as well, Rosa. I'm not sure of how old you are, but we didn't have that. You know what I mean? We didn't have social media. We grew up in an era that it was a phone call, or we passed notes. We didn't, we met somewhere for dinner or lunch. We didn't have this outlet now where everything is out there. Everybody has a voice. Everybody is speaking up. Everybody is bringing recognition to these areas of deceit, of dismissal, of betrayal. And now it's being talked about, which is amazing. But at the same time, we need to really, really start focusing on solutions. How can we bring solutions to these problems? How can we make it better? And if AI is here to make things better, then listen to the people that are in the front row seats, not the people in the top row seats, the people in the front row seats, the ones that are living this, the ones that are in the trenches, the ones that are doing this every single day, because that's where your solutions are. They're right in front of you. You're just choosing not to see them.
And I also will say that we're supposed to start the change that is needed, because, again, I studied nursing 25 years ago, and I've been a nurse for more than 23 years, and 24, 20, yeah. Anyway, when I start as a nurse, graduated, start as a nurse, it was not that busy. It was not that so many boxes to tick. It was more human interaction. And I saw in more than 2 decades, this change. I'm sure, Kimberly, with you, I don't know with you, Rosa, but I saw these changes become also medicalized. There's no prevention anymore. They're just a box to be thick. This medication, this other medication, the other medication. The increasing of chronic condition, that's all this stuff that really took away from us as a nurses, as a health professional, the ability to sit down and talk with people, to really establish a real connection. So for us, that we saw these changes and we recognize the differences. And so we should start to advocate and start the change that needed, right? As a ripple effect. But I guess my question for both of you is, once we start this ripple effect, do you think it will be useful to embed in our nursing trainings the communication aspect? So do you think we should embed in the program also communication and connection and relationship? Because now humanity are losing so much due to social media, due to fast-paced, healthcare. What do you think, Bob? Because the question that I've got now is, if we used to do it, right, and we have more time to do it, and we used to do a different nursing, how can we can call it now? How can come in agreement of that we need more connection in a moment where humanity is losing connection?
Yeah, and I think that there are ways we can use AI to reskill our nursing workforce. I was talking to a nurse the other day about a company she's working with that is designing simulations for optimizing communication. And so I think that, we can use those tools to create those scenarios and show you what you can do better each time. And then also, when we're talking about solutions for things like allowing for the right amount of staffing to show the compassion we want to show. One of my colleagues that I have been working with on the Nurses Shift Change movement here in the U.S., Amber Soyland, she has built an app called the Safe Staff app. I don't know if you've seen it yet or spoken with her yet. If not, you need to, because it's incredible, because she has given people an app that they can report safety things like there are not enough nurses on the unit or whatever in real time, but also anonymized so that they're not going to get like in trouble. But they also verify that these are real nurses who are actually working at this place beforehand. So it's not just like Reddit thread, you don't know who anybody is. So I'm really excited about the way that nurses are getting involved to use technology and use AI to make things safer and to retrain us when we have lost our people skills from being, separated by everything from the pandemic to TikTok versions of communication, So I'm really excited to see the solutions that are being put out there and to amplify them so people know that they're out there.
Yes, I totally agree. And yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I actually connected her and Brittany Parks together in a post the other day. So I'm always bringing the villagers together. But they both are kind of thinking the same thing. And I saw that. And I know this about Brittany. I'm like, girl, you guys got to meet. I mean, you guys just really have to meet. And kind of the same thing with Mark Carter and Mock Health and the app that he's developed and how it's helping nurses to realize that they haven't went to the bathroom, they haven't eaten, where's their mental health at, have they slept enough, it does all of that, in a 24-hour period or during that time of your shift, and it allows for check-ins and whatnot. So it's an amazing thing too. So AI, yes, it can do a lot of amazing things, and so many people are creating these new apps and these new boxes because we're thinking outside of a box and we're creating a new one. And it's so big. And I love all of the things that we can learn. And those are the solutions. That's what I keep coming back to. Those are finding the solutions for the problems that are right in front of us. And the funny thing is, those are nurses. Imagine that. Those are nurses. Came from nurses. They came from their ideas, came from what they live and breathe every single day. So your people, your solutions to all your problems are right in front of you. You just have to listen to them. Actually give them a seat at the table and let them bring you ideas and be open to ideas. Why are so many companies and organizations not open to change? Not open to, go ahead.
Okay, let's keep this focused on solutions and the fact that if you bring your solution to your employer and they poo-poo your idea, that doesn't mean your idea is dead in the water. I don't know how familiar you are with the Bible, but in the Bible it says a man is not a prophet in his own country. My grandparents
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
Are you familiar with this? My
Yes, I
grandparents
am.
they might call it wiped butt syndrome of like, I changed your diaper when you were a baby. What are you going to tell me that I don't already know?
Exactly.
So sometimes, and I will say probably most of the time, you see a solution from your current work environment. You can't really introduce it in that environment if they're not open to it. So that doesn't mean your idea has to die. That means let's go see who else wants it. And so there are accelerator programs that can teach nurses how to patent ideas and how to get funding, how to be their own CEO of their own company while still working their job for their seed money in the meantime. I had Sarah Wayman on the podcast, the Nurse Rosa's Insights podcast, talking about her Louie invention. And she was talking about the business accelerator program that has really helped her to launch that and mentored her through that process of starting a business and developing a solution. And so staying within the walls of the place where you dreamed up the idea isn't always a way. It's like maybe you will roll it out to every hospital except your own first. Maybe, and that's okay. Sometimes that's what you got to do. And Dina, maybe you could share from an international perspective, what does that look like for nurses? Are there resources like we have small business development councils that can help like that, and business accelerators. Are there things like that in other countries as well?
So what I would say about, name and also words used for certain things is really different because between culture. Okay, culture really can have, you can find different culture, the same word have different meanings in different culture, right? So, and business is so slow in Italy and even more in Africa. For example, Africa and India now, they start to revamp a little bit businesses, new ideas, but still very funds are not very much available. There's not opportunity for common people to start a new business. So it's still that place where you must have someone behind you that finance, right? In Europe, there's not much. In UK, we got this NHS Clean Entrepreneur program that I'm part of that help clinicians, nurses, doctors, physiotherapists, also patients to really understand how to create from an idea a concept to minimum value product, how to interact with venture capital, all these things for business. And plus we have many accelerators in UK. In Europe, as far as I know, there are very little and not very much accessible. So when I say that, and I say several times, when I say the US is ahead with this, that is like have the accelerator speed on innovation, on business, etc. Because it's true. You guys, if you wake up in the morning and have an idea, in the evening you have a business if you want, right? While for us is very much more slow. And the NHS, excuse me, the NHS in UK start to understand this. This is why they created all these accelerator in the past few years. Also because they want to remove the NHS and bring more the business mentality on trust on hospital instead of the big one organization that decide for everyone. So they start all these things. But what I can say is nurses, actually what we do with this podcast is really give nurses permission to dream big, isn't it, Kimberly? That to give permission to nurses to feel valued. That the system, at least this is my personal opinion, there are many nurses that say that the system is against us. I don't see system built necessarily against nurses. I see more the system has been built because of power that exchanged through the decades, centuries, okay? Yes, there is a predominant profession, which is a medical profession that has been built with centuries, so they have more power in the healthcare system, and then big pharma push. So all these things that just build the system. So I think that nurses are part of the system. We should not feel excluded from the system. And actually, I was talking about this with Angie Gray. So we should use our power inside the system to change the system when we find the system it doesn't work. And so when you guys in USA have a more entrepreneurial mindset, all people in USA is the land of, the dream, people who build themselves with your idea. Here in UK, in Europe especially, and UK start to a little bit waking up. In Europe, this is the land of the dinosaurs, of the institution. The things that are being built like this and supposed to be like this forever. So I believe that this podcast, as others, is for letting nurses understand they have the power. If they have the knowledge, they have the power. What they need, and actually we talk about this with my client lately, what they need is commitment, right? So if you don't have an accelerator, try to find an accelerator. Find a person who open up door for you. Find a sponsor, right? And I believe we go back to connection and to people. And because the fact that your culture doesn't necessarily facilitate your idea, this doesn't mean that your idea can't be developed. So I feel very fortunate and lucky to be in UK. If I was in Italy, I already gave up nursing, also because my health issue, all the stuff. But I feel very lucky to be in UK. And when I talk with other people in my network, in Healthcare Leadership Academy, in the NHS Clinic Entrepreneur, I feel grateful for being here because there are all these organization, accelerator, and group of people that actually can help leverage my skill, other people's skills idea, right? If I was in Italy, I'm still nobody, right? I'm still a long way to make my idea be known to people. But in Italy, probably really be no one at all. So I think nurses must understand where they are, be grateful for what they have, and if they don't have the resources that they would like to have, just knock door until someone open. I really hope I answer your question.
That was really good. No, that was, again, with Rosa and I being from the US, you know, it's different here, and how things are done and how you move forward and how you become stagnant. So thank you for enlightening me. I'm just sitting here in awe like a little kid. I'm just listening because
thank you for asking, because yes, and this is another thing. I think there are many podcasts in USA, but so little in Europe. And until people start to talk about things, or that, they don't know, until they don't know, they can do much about it. So this is why I love to this podcast with you, Kimberly, have our amazing guests, as you, Rosa. So, and we talk about Australia with people in Australia, New Zealand, and other parts of the world, because we know, all of us know their own place, right? So until we spread the message, so yes, thank you.
And it's so funny too, Dina, is that we've had guests, from Africa and from here in the States and Australia and the United Kingdom and so many other beautiful places. But we all come to the same conclusion when we come to these conversations. We're all suffering the same thing. Everything that's happening is everywhere. It's not just in one organization. It's not just in one system. It's not just one culture. It's everywhere. So that's the beautiful thing about this platform and these conversations and LinkedIn and the other social media outlets is bringing all the voices together from all over the world and having those reality talks, I guess I want to say, and because you have so many people that say, oh my God, me too. You're shitting me. Seriously? That happens over there? Wow. I thought it was just me. I thought it was just here, and it's such a revelation that then people start talking and then you have more conversations and then you have today. So yeah, I do love that about the platform and the conversations, because we're all having the same one, just from different angles, different destinations. So it's nice to come together and build these relationships and building trust and moving forward. And I know we're getting close to time, and
she will read the last comment that we have.
Oh yeah.
And so we can share our last takeaway or message.
Okay. So I see. So I believe it's Robbie. So Robbie says, thank you for these healthy, light shedding content and conversations. So Kim, are you going to visit us in Tulsa and explore our hotel and possibility with us? Both the other ladies are also sharing of great experiences and direction to many interested individuals. Thank you, ladies. Yes, I'm going to come and visit, Robbie. We've been talking about that for, oh my God, a year, for me coming out and checking out their hotel and being a special guest. So yes, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'll put it on my calendar. And the one previous to that, he said, great conversation to hear. Ghosting
Which
by
one?
HR. I think we talked about that one, right? Okay. And
Yeah,
then he
yeah.
says, okay. And then thank you for, what did he say? Thank you
I
for these
heard
healthy light
culture.
shedding content. Do you see that one? The next one down. Thank you for these healthy light shedding content and conversations. Okay, so I got that one. Okay, and then I heard culture, humanity, and compassion, etc. All of this resonates with many services-based industries. Very interesting and encouraging conversations. You all seem to embody these values, skills, and qualities. Amen. I made it a point to listen to you all while having breakfast at Panera Bread. Thank you for taking on some of my questions. Kudos to all of you. Kim, you are awesome and keep this going. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Ravi. Appreciate you. And I know that all of us appreciate your presence today and giving us your Sunday morning at Panera Bread. I didn't have breakfast, so I'm going to have to find me something to eat. It's now almost 1 o'clock. But no, thank you guys so much for this, Rosa. We appreciate you so much today and the experience.
Kim, sorry, love. Sorry. We have 3 more comments, I believe. Yes, 3.
Is there another one I missed? Okay, let me see.
3
I
more.
didn't see it.
I put in the screen if you can.
Okay, I see now. Okay. So Heather M. Heather says, is that the one you want me to read? Okay. So Heather M. She says, the Mayo Clinic has an accelerator program. They typically run a hackathon once a year. I didn't find it super helpful, but that doesn't mean that it might not be helpful for someone else. The hackathon is remote. You do not need to be a software developer. It's more about generation from people in industry. And then she leaves the website. Thanks, Heather, for sharing that. And her and I just actually, it's so funny. We just had a conversation in one of my posts in the comment section where somebody dive bombed her, a fake recruiter dive bombed her.
Yeah.
And come at her, and she let him have it. Oh my God, it was the most hysterical way that she handled it. And we kind of went back and forth in it. But if you don't follow Heather, she's a wealth of political and just medical devices and that type of industry. She's brilliant. So yes, please, both of you follow Heather if you do not.
Oh, yeah.
Her and I have been again been connected probably for the last year, and it was just, I don't know, something clicked with a comment or a post I saw or she saw, and boom, before you know it, here we are. So yeah,
Okay.
It's all
It's
about
time
that.
to close.
Okay. Yes, it is time to go, isn't it?
Rosa, thank you very much for your time with us. We really appreciate it. We love the conversation. Kim, it's always a pleasure to be with you on Sunday morning, afternoon for me. And guys, thank you very much to listen. Thank you for connecting, commenting. Please, if you already watched this as a recording from YouTube, please share your comments. Still, we're going to reply to you. Like, share, and subscribe to Nurses Move. And I love you so much. Thank you for this afternoon from here in UK.
I love you too. Enjoy your day, ladies. And thank you for everybody that showed up today, everybody that was secretly watching, and everybody that will watch the recording. Thank you. We appreciate you. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Bye. Thank you.